What's so hard about that? You let it all go. You're turning up the volume, reaching for your radio. What's so hard about that? Get your horn up out the case. You flap them little gums out, and you stick it on your face. What's so hard about that?
I'm really sorry about this past weekend, Dwayne. I really thought there would be more people at my album release party. People just don't appreciate good music anymore, you know?
Well, maybe if you weren't trying to hit on every woman in sight and offering up all your free drink tickets, you could have made a few sales there, partner.
Look, once I heard Crystal Slater wasn't showing up, I figured, hell, let's have a party tonight.
Yeah.
Why'd you want to give my mom your drink tickets?
Pipe down, son. This is serious business we're talking here.
Well, you ain't going to be piping down anyone soon if we don't come up here with this money.
Look, I'm doing the best I can despite you putting both our jobs in jeopardy. I'm sorry that after last week's dud, we're now $5,043 in the hole. Are you sure you don't want to start gambling again?
Look, the only sure bet I got right now is that we are SOL. I mean, we are really grasping at straws here, dude.
Ooh, maybe we could have a straw grasping contest. Get the biggest dudes in town to try and take a straw out of one of our linemen's hand. Maybe charge $20 a pop.
Oh, that's too absurd even for us. Okay, you know that. We're just slinging mud against the walls to see what sticks now.
Maybe we could have a mudslinging contest.
No, you're just twisting my words into what you think is a good idea.
How about a word twisting contest?
Boys. I finally got a little bit of good news for you two.
What, the station agreed to pay for my fine?
Your mom's going to call me back?
I'm finally going to get back pay from all my unpaid labor?
What? Hell no to all three of those things.
Then what the hell could the good news be, Bruce?
Yeah, seriously. I mean, unless little Birdie told you that someone is shaving points on the Muntsville-Dieter game this weekend and we can get in on the action, I mean, what good news could you possibly have?
I just got word from the Booster Club that you two jackwagons are going to be emceeing the Paultom City Alumni Dinner this Sunday. And for the first time, they'll be hosting an auction to win a date with former Paultom football players.
Hot damn, Bruce. Just when I thought I was out, you pulled me back in.
For how much we've covered for Buddy and the Booster Club as of late, I'd say he owes us. Hopefully he'll agree to let us split some of the money raised and give us some crawfish pies while he's at it.
Yeah, and maybe if we make some hush-hush deals with guys like Todd Gonzalez or Pound Sign Johnson and let them get away with free ads on here, maybe they'll participate in one of these dates. Maybe kick some of that back to us. Huh?
All right. Don't start counting your chickens before they hatch, okay? This is a serious gig with a chance to make some serious money to pay off that fine. I don't need my bell cows going overboard. I need you on your best behavior. I believe in you boys. I believe you're going to save this show. Without it, some Houston Jagoff will be calling us Paultom City and a 30-second game recap on Saturdays. This team, this town deserves better. Now go out there and get that cash, boys.
You got it, Bruce.
What do you think he considers best behavior? 13, 14 drinks?
Hell, I think we just play it by ear and see where the night takes us. All right? After all, it's homecoming weekend. We got to make sure to get all the girls.
Or guys.
Right. We just need to make sure that to schmooze the right people and, make sure they pay top dollar for these dates.
I'll make sure to dial up the old Wayne Teague charm to 11 that night, and I'm sure we'll raise the cash we need.
I heard my mom call you Paul Wayne Sleaze.
What did you say to me?
What's so hard about that?
Good afternoon, Pine Nation. This is The First Down with Dwayne Applebottom coming to you live on QWIL The Quill. We got a heck of a show for you today, and before we get started, let me take the time to introduce you to my right-hand man, my confidant, my consigliere, Mr. Paul Wayne T.
Thanks for that intro, Dwayne. Now, while I might not be a wartime consigliere, I'm just fine being the Tom Hagen to your Don Corleone. You're in good hands with me by your side.
Right back at you there, good buddy. Y'all, we got a special homecoming preview coming to you later in the show. But before we get to that, we're going to jump right into our district recap to let you know what the Porcupines are up against as we head into the home stretch of district play here in this season.
Dwayne, it's looking like a 4-team race for the district crown. Right now, those low-life tuggers from Boat sit atop the district at 7-0 and are angling for yet another district championship.
Yeah, they've really dominated all three phases of the game this season, folks. They're really good. They're, of course, led by quarterback Bubba the Slim Jim Jimpson and standout linebacker Lane Peartop, who you may remember had the game-winning two-point conversion against us last year. He's also the son of Shane Peartop, better known as Public Enemy number 1 here on the First Down.
You know, I'd actually argue he's number 2 behind my scorned ex-wife/traitor, whose name I cannot mention.
You know what? I agree with you there, Paul Wayne. I'll adjust our enemy power rankings accordingly. We also can't forget their special teams, which, of course, are led by Cuatro Leches, who is the younger brother of their phenom leg, Trace Leches. And Quattro's been a real godsend for the Tuggers this year. He picked up right where Trace left off.
You know, as much as I loathe Boat, the Lord would not forgive me if I didn't tip my cap to the Leches family. They got me believing that kickers are worthwhile human beings for once.
Yeah, there's something in the water over there. They are churning out some stud ducks with just killer legs. It's like their mother dipped their whole legs in the river Styx and came out with 2 future All-Americans. You know, watch out, Justin Tucker. There's a couple players gunning for your GOAT title, dude. Now, right behind the Tuggers sit the Stuber Bakers, and they're there with us looking at a 6-1 record this year.
Yeah, and I think our record should come with an asterisk after we were unjustly forced to play the second half of the Muntsville game after the Titty Biles injury.
Agreed. And we do hope to hear back from the UIL on a ruling for that any day now. But looking at Stuber, our old coach, Darryl Strong, has led the Bakers to a pretty surprising season, to be honest with you. Now, this may just be a rumor, but I heard that he took old Coach Hauser's old offense, and that's what's been keeping them hot this year. That's just what I heard. I don't know. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. They're also led by running back Fuchsia Grange, who is the supposed great-great-grandson of Red Grange. We take him on in a couple weeks, and folks, that's looking like it's going to be a game that could decide who gets in the playoffs this year.
Yeah, he may be the descendant of the Galloping Ghost, but I just think he'll be the one who gets spooked when he sees our front seven led by Jesus Garcia-Zielinski, Aaron Chudd, and Tim the Toolman Tyler.
On defense, they've been led by All-American safety Brian Hawkins, who's a big-time ball hawk for them. I mean, he's gobbled up 7 picks on the year, and he's ran 3 of them back for TDs. I mean, he's the real deal. They've also got lineman Mackenzie the Mack Truck, who they say hits you so hard your grandkids will feel it.
Lucky for us, we got on the O-line DeBrickashop Brickhouse Thompson, who will be sure to stonewall him.
He's a brick house. Love that. Now, the last contender for the district crown is none other than the Muntsville Naturals. They currently sit at 6-2, but only one of those losses was in district, and that was against the Lugerville Cougars. So they currently hold the tiebreaker over the Pines. But their other loss did come against a common opponent out of district, the Diedrich Gators. And that's a loss that could come out in favor should there be a 3-way tie for first place.
Yeah, there must have been something in the water that night because Diedrich's star running back Butte Pousse ran for 243 yards and 4 touchdowns as the Gators pulled off a huge upset against those big Naturals, winning 38-35 in overtime.
Yeah, the Gators got that good Pousse that night, and Muntsville finished just a little too early. You hate to see it.
You know, we've all been there.
Sometimes you just give up after a while, after plugging away at it. But anyway, the point is, there's still a lot of district play left, folks. Muntsville and the Porcupines still have to take on Stuber and Boat, and Stuber still has to play Boat too. Then, of course, they got the vaunted Lugerville-Cougarville double Dutch after that, so really, the field is wide open, folks.
Yeah, Dwayne, I've got no doubt all the extra 3-a-days, tackling drills, and the newly installed yelling booth that Coach Hauser just acquired are really going to pay off down the stretch here.
Yeah, if y'all ain't heard, Coach Hauser and the Pines recently acquired a soundproof booth where Coach Hauser takes 5 minutes each week to bring in each player on the roster, and he breaks down every weakness, defect, or flaw in their play. I mean, now that's a player's coach for you, Paul Wayne.
You know, Dwayne, having that space to be yelled at in private is a game changer for sure. You know, they say that the game is 50% mental, and I feel this is really going to have a positive effect for our boys on the field. Lord knows I wish some of the players didn't hear Coach Hauser chastise me or wish death on my loved ones during practice. If we're being honest, every time I hear someone snickering behind me, I still get a little PTSD.
Yes. We've all dealt with a little of the Pine traumatic stress disorder from time to time. I mean, that just comes with playing for the purple and brown, y'all. It's just a part of it. We've all got nightmares of big plays we missed here and there that our daddies still won't let us live down.
Yeah, like who could forget when you tripped on your own feet trying to tackle Boomer Hauer in the semifinal game versus Arlen?
Well, partner, I'd love to forget that, and probably would if it wasn't for someone reminding me every other week. It'd be like if I Brought up your sophomore year flub when John Redhorn bulldozed you and then broke Frankie Failson's collarbone and left him flatter than a pancake.
Look, as the great Mark McGuire said in front of Congress, I'm not here to talk about the past. I just want to say that Coach Hauser has our boys in great shape going forward, which bodes well for our homecoming night against the Tate T-Bones.
Agreed. That's shaping up to be one doozy of a weekend, and we'll be looking to cook those T-bones to a perfect medium rare that night, believe you me. Of course, the festivities will kick off with the annual Homecoming King and Queen winner announcement. Then, of course, Saturday night, we'll likely all be sweating the alcohol out of our system at the big homecoming dance where we'll get to hear the King and Queen's acceptance speeches. And then on Sunday night, the Booster Club will be hosting our Paultom City Consolidated Alumni Dinner, which will be hosted by yours truly and Paul Wayne. We've also got some exclusive news. After the dinner, we'll be holding the first ever auction to win a date with a former Paultom football player.
Yeah, folks, I'm happy to announce that you'll have the real cream of the crop to pick from when it comes to our alumni up for auction. I'm talking about the possibility to go on a date with players like Todd Gonzalez, Poundside Johnson, Stapp Drinkwater, and even us. All proceeds will benefit the Paultom Booster Club and the Apple Bottom Teague Foundation.
Yeah, y'all be sure to make it out and support those two very important causes. It's support like that helps keep the lights on in more ways than one, so y'all come out and come hungry. I mean, the food will be catered by Catfish O'Holy's, folks. It's going to be a killer spread. It really will be. All right, well, that's going to do it for the district recap. When we come back, we'll be breaking down all of those homecoming nominees for this year. So y'all stick around, folks. We'll be right back. Hunting season has arrived, folks, and I tell you, I'm ready to get out to my blind and bag me a big one this year. But I just got one problem. Just about every time I get out to my blind, my bowels start rumbling like a Cummins diesel. Sound familiar? Well, thankfully, there's a product out there that can help, and it's called the Mud Bucket. The folks at Mud Bucket understand how challenging it is to have a BM while hunting, which is why their smell lock system allows you to evacuate your bowels in comfort without worrying about your scent scaring off that trophy buck. The best part? The patented swivel seat on the Mud Bucket allows you to turn 360 degrees and access all windows in your deer blind, so you won't miss that shot whenever you're on the pot. I've used it multiple times myself, folks, and if I'm being honest, I almost prefer it to my real toilet. So, quit trying to hunker down in the bushes and give the folks at Mud Bucket a call today. Mud Bucket, be ready when nature calls. And tell them Dwayne sent you. Welcome back to the First Down, folks. Homecoming is officially upon us, y'all. That's right, it is officially one of my favorite times of the year. And since this is our bye week, Paul Wayne and I wanted to take the opportunity to break down the nominees for Homecoming King and Queen.
While our predictions for last year's crop didn't quite pan out, I'm feeling pretty confident in my read of this year's crop of nominees. The Student Council did a hell of a job with their selections this year, Dwayne.
Indeed, they did. The field is really anyone's game this year, and if anyone's made it out to the sportsbook at Paultom Downs, you're going to want to see what the odds makers have to say about these kids. I mean, some of these odds, they're way off, all right? So, if any of y'all want to go 50-50 on a bet or something like that, maybe a little prop bet here or there, text me. Let's get rich, boys.
Dwayne, doesn't that go against everything you've achieved with Gamblers Anonymous?
Hey, desperate times call for desperate measures, Paul Wayne. So again, if any of y'all want to put some cash on this game, give old Dwayne a holler. All right, let's get into the nominees, partner.
If you say so. Let's start with our potential queens first. What do you say?
Ladies first. Let's hear it for the girls.
Our first nominee this year is Priscilla Bobo Bowie. This one is an interesting pick because not only is she in the running for Homecoming Queen, but she's also supposed to be a lock for this year's Class Clown Superlative at prom.
Yeah, now if we take a look at the Pantalone Springs Next Gen Homecoming ratings, she comes in at about a 70 on that probability chart. Now, it's not too often you see a class clown in the running for homecoming, and even more rare to even have a class clown that's a girl, you know. But Paul Wayne, it's 2023. Those damn ladies are funny now.
Dwayne, I'll admit that for the longest time, I didn't find women funny. But during my incarceration, I took time to reflect on my misogyny. I sat my white butt down and listened, and I came to the conclusion that it was just my ex-wife Kathy who was an insufferable dullard. Ladies actually do give me the chuckles, and I'll stand by that. This girl's got chops too, and humor may play well in her favor for this vote. Hell, she could be the next Roseanne Barr, I hear.
Yeah, with a last name like Bobo Booey, you're pretty much destined to be funny, in my opinion. And word on the street is that she uses her name in one of those bits, too.
Is that right?
Yep. Apparently what she'll do is she'll get on the PA system and just yell, Bobo Booey, during morning announcements, just goofy stuff like that. Great bits. Great bits. Now, no telling what kind of gag she'd pull with the homecoming crown if she won that this year.
The sky's the limit for her bits. Keep an eye on old Bobo Booey this year, folks.
All right, next up is one Ashley Schweitzer, who is the debate team president.
Now here's a pick for our academic crowd. My guess is we've got a teacher's pet on our hands.
Her next-gen homecoming rating is coming in at a 75, which is strong for an academic nominee, if we're being honest with ourselves. Word on the street is that she's also got scholarship offers from Rice, SMU, and Angelo State.
Jeez, that's the Ivy League of Texas.
And she's in the running for salutatorian.
Yawn. Look, folks, happy to see one of our students doing well and all, but being the homecoming queen isn't about delivering PowerPoints and studying flashcards. It's a popularity contest, plain and simple, and that nerd doesn't stand a chance. Next gen rating be damned.
Yeah, typically that GPA doesn't mean jack squat when it comes to getting that old sash and tiara. She's a long shot, in my eyes. And if anybody happens to be taking bets outside of Paultom Downs and has good odds on a long shot pick for homecoming queen, y'all shoot me a text.
Next up is the dance team's sole baton twirler, Braylee DeGarglio.
Now this is a solid pick. Now, we all remember her sister Haley DeGarglio winning queen back in 2015, so her next-gen homecoming rating is sitting at an 80 with that legacy bump, all right? Plus, she's a baton twirler, which means that she's front and center at halftime. People love a good show, and I mean, she's a crowd favorite now. I think that she might be the front runner for me. I mean, she's circus material, Paul Wayne, and I don't throw that around willy-nilly. You know that.
See, I'm torn, Dwayne, because she's also going up against last year's rodeo queen, Miss Cheyenne Navasota. She's been the district champ barrel racer 3 years running and could probably beat up most of the homecoming king nominees in a straight-up fight.
That's true. That's true. She's got looks and brawn, and that's a deadly combo. Deadly enough to give her an 82 on the Pantalone Springs next-gen homecoming ratings.
She's already queen of the rodeo arena. Hard to see something stopping her from bringing home the homecoming crown, too.
Well, the only other nominee that could bring it home for queen is actually a returning nominee this year. That's Bristol Taterson.
Ah, yes. Last year, we wrote her off for nepotism, but ironically enough, that may get her the crown this year.
Yeah, if y'all recall, Bristol is the granddaughter of former Paultom PA announcer Pete Taterson, who recently passed away during his induction into the Paultom Ring of Honor.
Exactly. And sympathy can be a hell of a drug, folks. Her losing her legendary grandfather may give her the edge she needs to be named queen.
Well, I know Pete would be looking down and hooting and hollering if that happened, but her next-gen homecoming rating is sitting at a 55, which is the lowest of the field. So the question is, will it be enough to carry her the whole way? That's really up in the air.
A lot of possibility, folks. But for this year, I think the first down is officially endorsing
the first down is endorsing whoever has the best odds. Okay, probably Bristol, maybe, but we'll see what the odds makers at Paultom Downs say.
Wait, weren't you banned from Paultom Downs?
That's neither here nor there, partner. Good crop of nominees for king this year, though, don't you think?
Dwayne, this honestly may be one of the closest races for homecoming queen we've seen in recent memory. We've got 5 strong candidates for the crown, starting with none other than Mr. Peyton Hurst.
That's right, folks. Believe it or not, old Dirt Hurst has stumbled his way back into the running for homecoming, and while he may have attracted the ire of the first down, he's not a bad pick. While his on-field performance has been nothing short of laughable this season, Peyton's still a Renaissance man, and you can't ignore that.
His Pantalone Springs next-gen homecoming rating shows as a 78, and I think that's low because let's not forget, he's got votes from the band, the theater department, and he just became an Eagle Scout, so he'll get votes from the community too.
Now that's what I call a triple threat. It's exactly what gets you that crown for homecoming. I'll say it now. If Peyton Hurst wins this year, I'll start calling him Pay Dirt again. And if anybody wants to do a prop bet on that name change, y'all holler at me.
Next on the list is Aaron DePompadour, the great-grandson of community legend and friend of the show, Edna DePompadour.
And y'all remember that she's one of the namesakes of the DePompadour Fieldhouse at the Den.
Exactly. His next-gen rating is an 85 on account of his legacy status, and also apparently because he's been spotted necking with half the senior class down behind the water treatment plant. This kid gets around, and he's from DePompadour stock. If he gets paired with Bristol Taterson, that could be a match made in Paultom homecoming heaven.
Wow. I hadn't even considered that possibility. I mean, to put that into context for those of you who aren't in the know in Paultom City history, those two families coming together like this, in a homecoming matchup, that would be like the Rockefellers and the Kennedys winning homecoming. I mean, it's just two absolute powerhouses in the mix here. The only downside that I see is that he's one of those guitar kids, the guys that are always hanging around the town strumming on a guitar.
Ugh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, and look, I hate to say it, but from what I've heard, he ain't that good.
Had to be said, Dwayne. We're nothing if honest, folks, and I've heard one too many crappy Sublime covers from him over the year, and maybe the homecoming voters have too, but, time will tell.
It certainly will. Now, the next slot was slated to go to our main man, Teddy Biles, but the student council bylaw states that only starters can be nominated for Homecoming King. So, old Maverick Malcolm Boyd has gotten the nod this year. And we sure are sorry about that, Teddy. Our heart goes out to you, man.
Now, I love this pick right here. He's new to Paultom, a rising star for the football team, and this is his first time experiencing a real homecoming. It's got all the makings of an underdog pick for King, Dwayne.
I like this pick, too. He's still got that underdog factor with him, and that goes a long way with these races for Homecoming King. I actually heard that last year at his old school, that six-man school he was at, they didn't have any girls at the school to be the homecoming queen, so their mascot was selected to be the queen.
What was their mascot?
It says here, Bessie the Heifer.
Well, Malcolm, you don't have to worry about that this year, big dude. You're officially our dark horse pick for King.
That is, of course, pending what I hear from the odds makers of Paultom Downs. But yeah, good luck, Malcolm. We're pulling for you.
Next nominee up is Billy the Bandit Bandero.
Now, who in their right mind nominated this kid for Homecoming King? I mean, this has to be some kind of image rehabilitation plan or something, because this kid's got bad boy written all over him. I mean, he's been suspended twice this year. He sits and smokes in the parking lot all the time. I've seen him. And he's smoking Reds, folks. Cowboy killers. And to my knowledge, he hasn't been to class most of the year. All he's known for is wearing a leather jacket and being dark and mysterious, whatever that means.
Yeah, this is a puzzling pick for sure. And get this, his next-gen rating is an 88. I mean, we haven't seen a rating like this since Arnie the Dillo Dillard in 01. If I had to guess, I'd say some student council girl has a crush and is trying to get his attention with this nomination. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if he no-showed the homecoming game next week. He's just too cool for school, Dwayne.
Too cool for school ain't gonna get you the crown, buddy. And I could possibly see him joining up with Aaron DePompadour and maybe making a crappy band or something, but I don't think King is in the future for him. He's just not King material.
Our last nominee for King is QWIL's very own Brett Slater.
Is that so? How the hell did you land that, kid?
This is the second year I've been nominated.
You got an in with the student council or something?
I actually have a lot of friends at school.
Yeah, I'm going to request the student council do an audit of their selection process, because there ain't no way this kid got in without some tomfoolery.
Why would I lie about that?
Look, I'll just come out and say it. I don't like your odds, personally. But the folks down at Paultom Downs might have a different angle on it. So I'll hold my judgment until somebody's able to get me an odd sheet this afternoon. I would appreciate that.
Okay, I'll bite. Why the hell are you getting back into gambling, Dwayne? Isn't that what nearly ruined you last year?
That's for me to worry about, Paul Wayne. Now just go with me on this, all right? Have I ever led you astray?
Frequently.
Okay, well this is a sure thing. Trust me. All right, now that is going to do it for our homecoming nominee breakdown, folks. Whenever we come back, we have a real treat. We'll be joined by our new theater director to talk about this year's fall musical, and I am really jacked for this. This is going to be really exciting. So y'all stick with us. We'll be right back. Fall has arrived. And at the premier dog racing park in Texas, we're itching to see who's gonna come out on top. Oh, it's a great day to watch the galloping greyhounds, folks. And it's time to find out who's all bark and who's all bite. Santa's Big Helper wins by a mile. Paultom Downs. The dogs are ready. Are you? Welcome back, y'all. It is now time for the Educator Spotlight, brought to you by Catfish O'Holy's. Catfish O'Holy's, we got fish again. Now, if y'all recall, this year, the Paultom City Theater Department lost its heart and soul when our former director and tight end coach, Chad Nabbit, took his talents to New York City. Now, I'll admit, I was pretty worried about where this program was headed without Chad at the helm, all right? But that was until I met our next guest. Joining us here on the First Down today is our new theater director, Miss Jaylene St. Clair. She joins us from Dallas, where she's been a community theater director at the Kalita Humphreys Theater for 5 years. And we're really happy to have her. Jaylene, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. It's so refreshing to work in a community that cares so much about the theater program, as they do here in Paultom City.
Well, you sure do have some big shoes to fill, Miss St. Clair. Chad Nabbit put on some fantastic shows over the year, as I'm sure you're aware. So I got to know, how are you going to meet the bar that's been set so high?
Well, you're right, Paul Wayne. He certainly set a standard in that theater department. If I'm being honest, it's been a bit interesting trying to decipher the methods and techniques he taught the kids.
How so, Jaylene?
Well, first off, I discovered all the kids' scripts for shows have been put together as playbooks. Each scene had been diagrammed like a football play. It was bizarre.
You know, sounds pretty normal to me.
Yeah, I mean, how else are you going to block a scene without knowing the X's and O's of it?
Apparently, he also made all the kids write their lines in football wristbands and wear them on stage during performances.
Do other kids not? I mean, what's the big deal here?
Yeah, how else are kids going to know their lines? Memorizing them or something?
Well, I thought they were just really good improvisers or something, but I asked a student to improvise a scene, and they proceeded to yell, "Kill, kill," and then deliver different lines for like 2 minutes. I thought it was performance art at first, but it turned out he was just calling audibles for each of his lines.
That's the one thing I always admired about Chad. He gave his actors the power to change their own lines if need be. And I mean, that's a trust in your playmaker right there.
It's also really problematic. You can't call audibles like that mid-show. I mean, these kids have never even heard of real musicals before. I brought up cabaret, and they stared at me like I was speaking another language.
Cab a what now?
Yeah, what are you talking about, Jaylene?
You know, classic musicals. Cabaret, The Music Man, Starlight Express. It seems like this town only really knows football musicals that Chad Nabbit either wrote himself or adapted from a web forum for theater nerds who like football called BroadwayGridiron.com.
That's one of my favorite websites.
You know, if I'm not mistaken, you're kind of saying that as if it's a bad thing, Jaylene.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I don't mean to come off as elitist or anything, but it's just that I don't know how much theater these kids were really taught. I mean, they were asking me how many wind sprints they'd have to do for this year's musical audition, and I failed to see how that's relevant to a show.
They better be doing 20 this year. Don't want them getting soft on us now that Nabbit's gone.
Yeah, 20 minimum. I mean, maybe 10 if you're running tech or something.
The number is 0. There will be no wind sprints this year. This is a theater department, not a gymnasium.
Hell, Jaylene, if I didn't know any better, I'd say you're getting a little big for your britches there, ma'am. No wind sprints? Hell, I mean, what are you going to do next? Take away the Cass Gatorade station?
Actually, yes, I am. There's no need for a Gatorade jug on the side of the stage. It's actually a fire hazard.
I fail to see how a liquid can be a fire hazard, but hey, you're the director, not us. Methods aside, you didn't tell us what the fall show is this year. Personally, I've been dying for a revival of The Longest Yard, the musical.
Ooh, good pick there, Paul Wayne. That's a good one. You know what I'd love to see is The Replacements, the musical.
Also couldn't go wrong with 80 for Brady, the musical.
Actually, we're going with Into the Woods this year.
Is that about former Cincinnati Bengal Ickey Woods?
Nah, that's the one about Willie Wood in Super Bowl I, right?
No, it's a musical that combines all the popular children's fairy tales.
Oh, like Little Red Riding Helmet?
Or Snow White and the 7 Yards?
Rapunzel?
Absolutely none of those things. Just the regular fairy tales in a regular musical.
Okay, Jaylene, you're the professional over there. Looks like we'll be seeing what a quote-unquote regular show is like, Paul Wayne.
All I'm going to say is Into the Woods better have an underdog plotline I can cry in public to, or I'm out.
Well, I'm not sure the plot will bring you to tears, Paul Wayne. I can assure you our cast will do an outstanding job. If there's one thing I can credit Chad Nabbit with, it's his vocal coaching. These kids have great pipes.
Now, Jaylene, on that note, our star tight end, Peyton Hurst, got the nod for the lead role in last year's musical. Now, we got to know, did he pull it off again? Now, and this is important because it may or may not affect his Homecoming King odds.
He did not his footwork was deplorable. He actually tripped and fell into the piano while singing Second Midnight.
Well, sounds like we're still calling him dirt for now.
Yeah, get it together, Peyton. Lord. All right. Well, Jaylene, thank you so much for joining us here today. We really do appreciate it. I really don't know why you're not going with a football theme for this year's show, but then again, I'm not a theater director, so what do I know?
You know, Principal Sanders said I might get a little pushback from you two, but trust me, once you've seen the show, you will be singing a different tune. You'll be singing show tunes.
I knew Dirty Dutch had to be behind this. Who else would hire a theater teacher who actually wanted to teach theater?
Yeah, another Sanders special. Jaylene, where can people get tickets to this Into the Woods?
Tickets are on sale at the Rip Torn Memorial Auditorium now.
All right. Y'all heard the woman. Go out there and get yours now if you're into that kind of thing. Jaylene, any final thoughts before we go?
I'd just like to remind everyone out there in Pine Nation that the Porcupine players have been working really hard on this, and we'd love to see everyone come out to experience the show. Change is a good thing, I promise.
Famous last words.
Oh, come on, Paul Wayne. Lord. All right. Thank you so much for joining us, Jaylene. We really do appreciate it. Best of luck to you, and hope this all works out because we got a lot riding on it here. All right, that will just about do it for us today, folks. Next week will be our homecoming game against Tate. The game is currently scheduled to start Friday at 7:30. That's going to be at the Den, and ought to be a cakewalk, wouldn't you say, Paul Wayne?
I'd call it more of a cake stomping, Dwayne. Tate is awful this year. This is exactly the kind of tune-up game our boys need going into the end of the season. I think this one will be over by half.
Well, we certainly hope that'll be the case. Y'all be sure to show up early and show off those mums, all right? Paul Wayne and I will be judging the mum contest before the game in the parking lot, so stop on by the QWIL truck for that. It is a $10 entry fee, and the winner gets a whole load of QWIL memorabilia, like my old microphones and Paul Wayne's first headset.
The winner will also get Bruce's Marconi Award trophy from 1995. You won't want to miss out on that, y'all.
Yeah, just a quick reminder, the homecoming parade this year is being rerouted away from Elm Street on account of all the bats stealing lawn chairs that people laid out there. So just giving you all heads up now, if you left your lawn chair out there to mark your spot, it's gone. It ain't there.
This year's Grand Marshal will be Randy the Red Rocket Renschel, our star running back from the 1961 state championship.
Yeah, this is the Red Rocket's grand return to the marshal duties after he accidentally put a man's eye out by throwing him a gobstopper packet in 2008. Homecoming Council has mandated that he can only throw soft candies this year, so y'all rest easy, but, keep your head on a swivel just in case.
I'm happy to see Randy still getting around okay. After all that's happened this year, this town can't afford to lose any more of its legends. Oh, and if anyone's interested, I'll be selling copies of my new album at the end of the parade route. I hadn't moved many copies yet, so if you were afraid of not getting one for yourself, rest assured there will be plenty.
All right, partner. Let's pack it in and head out to the track. What do you say?
Lead on, good sir.
All right. That does it for us, folks. As always, I'm Dwayne.
And I'm Paul Wayne.
Go Pines.
The official broadcast partner of Paultom City Consolidated Athletics, QWIL, The Quill.